Good afternoon. It's Liane from The Spirit Within. I'm sitting here with Jo. We, if you look below, we did another little video about the beginnings and the capping of energy and losing the ability to see or feel because of traumas that we've been put through, whether they do it on purpose or they just think that they know better. Our parents, I mean, that's what we're trying to change now, right? Is the things that our parents taught us isn't necessarily the right way to do things. We laugh here, trying not to be disrespectful, but we really try to wake people up a little bit more than they were. Technology, evolution, moving forward, we have all learned that the ways of the old ways, the old ways, weren't right. Okay, it's like just because that's the way it was always done does not mean that it's correct. Just
like smacking kids with spoons.
Yes, not a good thing. Not a good thing. There's so many things that we need to change and break cycles for. Capping a child's imagination has to be number one on that list. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual assault on a child is absolutely 100% wrong and has done so much damage to the generations going forward that it is absolutely my top priority is to help these kids get past their traumas so that they can step back into that childlike love and joy and gratitude of being in the now and living now. So one of the things that we were just talking about before we came on live was being able to see auras. So most children, when they're little, do it normally. To them, we look like we're all walking rainbows. They know it, they feel it, they sense it, and then an adult is usually the one saying, it's your imagination, it's not real, it's whatever. Jo, explain what you used to see for people.
When I was younger, I used to see auras, I used to see people's colors. It was usually a big bubble around them, and for some people, especially when they were mad, it was like flames. Their bubble would turn into flames around them. And when they were sad, it would be kind of like water, but it was all the colors that they were feeling, all of the things that was in them. It was different shapes, different colors. I saw it for years, and I used to love just kind of watching people so I could see the different colors they had, the different shapes. And then it was my parents, I had mentioned it to them, I think once, and they put a cap on it, and they were like, oh no, that's not real, that's just you imagining things, you need to stop telling lies, blah blah blah.
And when that happens, it's like putting a hat on their crown chakra. It shuts everything down so that they start thinking that they really are crazy, they aren't seeing what they are seeing, and then all of that wonderful energy flow stops. So what I'm going to teach you guys today, what I'm going to hopefully help Jo reconnect to, is that every one of us has an auric field. We can all see auras. It's not rocket science. You don't need a book. You don't need to spend a fortune to find out how to do it. However, it does take practice. And it takes knowing that you're not crazy, that just because there's a crazy old lady on the video doesn't mean that I'm crazy either. I've been doing this a long time, okay? So one of the easiest ways is if you've got somebody that you can trust. Of course, we're in a background right now with a bunch of stuff around us, so it's going to be harder to see the auric field. I always recommend that you step up against something solid, or you have a friend of yours that you love and trust, step up against something solid, even if it's just a curtain, a dark color, a wall. A dark wall is even better than a light wall. The coolest thing is have you ever watched those? They're like books where you look into them and you have to unfocus your eyes, and then when you unfocus your eyes, the image pops out of the picture and it looks like it's in 3D. I think those are so cool. Now, there is a problem with that. Those people, because it's an optical thing, okay, with your brain, it works within your brain. Some people cannot, no matter how hard they try, they cannot unfocus their eyes to make that 3D picture pop out of the book. Those people, if you're one of those people, you're going to have a real hard time seeing auras. And the reason is because your optics are already saying this doesn't work. I am not unfocusing. When you see an aura, especially when you're first practicing, trying to unfocus your eyes just on the outside edge. So look at their shoulder or just above their shoulder and unfocus your eyes so that you just kind of fade out, and all of a sudden you will start seeing a ripple around the outside of their bodies. It might be just a little teeny ripple, and then all of a sudden it gets a little bigger, and then it becomes a light and a shadow, and it starts to dance off their bodies. And then with practice you can start picking up colors, and it'll start flowing. So the best thing to do is to try with somebody that is, again, sitting against something with a solid color, so that you could just
crap, it started and then
And
my
then
eyes
blink.
started watering.
Yep. Now you can unfocus your eyes and blink at the same time. A lot of
I-
people can't.
Yeah,
So
I
it takes
can't very
practice.
well.
It does take practice. Now I've gotten to the point where I could just look and see what's going on around you. A lot of people, Julie, one of our ladies, lovely ladies that work in our shop, she, we call her the medical medium, which she really doesn't like. However, she can, without even realizing what she's doing, is she'll take a look and she'll just feel and sense. That's different than seeing the auras. If she would listen to me and I could train her, she would be able to see the auric field as well.
Mhm.
The aura colors coming in on you, as opposed to the colors that are straight through your body, are two separate things, okay? So the colors that are shining around you, that kind of bounce around you, are the influences that are in your life right now. So it can be happiness, it can be anger, and it can shift in color. Illnesses usually are very solid and stay really close to the bodies, and usually will show up in or around the part of the body that is ill. All right, and they can be little gray spots or whatever. What I will tell you right now is what I tell every one of the girls that I teach. Please do not walk up to a stranger and say, "Bleh, blah, 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 this is what I just saw." Don't freak people out. Don't step into their auric fields on purpose. It is unethical, all right? So one of the first things that I try and teach all of my girls and my guys that come and work with me is what I call the psychic ethic boundaries, all right? So somebody that you don't know and has not given you permission to have you read them, stay the hell out of their auric field, okay? Stay out of their minds, stay out of their business. They are none of your business. When you're working with somebody that you love and trust, and you say, "I give you my permission, check me out, see if there's anything going on," go for it. Same with spirit talk. I mean, mediums that I work with. One of the first things I do is, do not do what you see on TV. That is unethical. Do not walk up to a stranger and say, "I have a message for you from your grandmother or your father or your whatever." Spirit will speak through you as a medium as you learn, and once they know you can hear them, you can't get them to shut up, and you have to teach yourself and them boundaries. Just because you can hear them doesn't mean that it's your job to give them the message, okay? So that's one of the things that's important. Same with things with auric colors. If you see something wrong, it is not your job to go up to a stranger and say,
"You have cancer."
right, like you just, do not do that. First off, completely 100% unethical, all right? If they come in and they know what you do and they've asked your permission and you have asked their permission, go for it. Don't just walk up to strangers. It's completely unethical. Does that make sense? I know that was kind of a tangent there. I just kind of went off on.
You went blah.
I did it because it's a pet peeve. So maybe we should do what are your pet peeves videos? That is my number one pet peeve. So everybody learns almost immediately. Unless you have permission to do something with somebody, do not do it. It is not your place. That is such an invasion of privacy. It's like walking into their homes and opening up the cupboards. Just don't do it. Okay, so back to there's my wild tangent for the day. Back to auric colors.
I mean, basically with that is just don't do the thing to other people, because you wouldn't like if someone randomly came up to you and was like, "Hey, I see all of this thing because I went into your mind." You'd be like, "No, why would you do that? Go away."
Exactly, absolutely, exactly. So don't do it. So when you're working with aura colors, because people have asked me so many times, "Well, how do you practice if you can't walk into a room and just look at colors?" That's not what I'm saying. You're more than welcome to go in and look at colors. Colors aren't an invasion of privacy. walking up to somebody and telling them that this is your interpretation of what you see, that is an invasion of privacy. Does that make sense? Okay, so when you're in a huge room of people and you're at McDonald's eating and you look over the people and start seeing the colors that are dancing around their heads, that's not an invasion of privacy. That is just how energy works. Everything is connected, and once you start seeing it, you're not going to be able to unsee it. So learning your own boundaries and setting that for yourself, so that you don't kind of go rainbow crazy, I call it. You walk into a big room and all you see is colors. We want you to stay in the here and now. So practicing is one thing. Setting out intentionally to drive yourself crazy is a completely other thing. So learning your boundaries, turning yourself off and on, turning that ability off and on, that takes practice. That takes giving yourself those boundaries. All right. So when you're sitting with somebody that says, go ahead, check it all out, or a friend says, hey, do you see my colors today? Or I want to practice on you. That's absolutely 100% okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So auras, there is some really, really good information online. Aura photography, we do biofeedback aura photography here at the shop. There are videos that you can see the auric field of plants, for instance. They will, I would love the $150,000 to buy the equipment to show you. There are others that have that information online. You can go see and research. The one that I loved so much was simply the slicing of a leaf, where they showed the energy around the leaf, the auric field around the leaf, and then when they sliced a piece off, they still showed the auric field where the plant was, even though it was not there. So we know that that's where a lot of the phantom feelings come, like if somebody's lost a limb and they can still feel their hand being itchy or their leg being itchy, even though it's not there, right? So we've
Phantom pains.
Yeah, the phantom pains. We've had friends that have lost limbs and appendages that still feel them, because that energy is still connected. Once it's connected, it exists forever. That's quantum physics, quantum metaphysics. So there is a ton. I think we're gonna have a lot of these rants where I just kind of go on, go off. Man, wasn't this video supposed to be about auric fields? How the hell did we get into
Quantum physics.
Quantum physics. There's a whole bunch of stuff in this brain, and I wish we had the entire library that I've read in my lifetime, and the classes and courses that I've taken in my lifetime could all be in here. There's a lot of shit up here. Oh, that might be that's not a bad word. We'll say that a lot. I'll try not to F-bomb because I do that one too. So lots of rants. We're going to have lots of questions. If you have something that you want to ask or you want to learn about, please, by all means, drop us a note, subscribe, and I will try to answer it. Bye. See you later. Bye.